Week 12 of the NFL season continues on Sunday, so it's time for another football edition of Hitting the Books. And joining me for this one from Vancouver, British Columbia, is the great sports betting content creator, Shantelle Chand. Shantelle, how's it going? How's the weather north of the border? Cool at this time of year, so.
Yeah, it's not too bad. Rain as usual, getting colder, but Thanksgiving weekend, always a good weekend for sports, and a full slate of games coming up on tomorrow as well.
Yep, it will be a busy week 12 in the NFL. We already had 3 games on Thanksgiving Day. So Shantelle, let's start with the New York Jets. New quarterback this week, Mike White, and they host the Chicago Bears. The Jets, they're 6-point home favorites. The Bears' money line is plus 200, and the over-under in this contest is currently at 38.5 points. Are you all in on the Mike White experience and taking the Jets to cover, or is there another bet that you like for this game?
I'm going all in on the Mike White experience because it can't get any worse than last week with Zach Wilson, right? I mean, Mike White played 4 games last year, and when you take a look at his stats, 5 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, right away you know that he turns over the ball a lot. But those 4 interceptions, 4 came against the Bills, 2 came against the Bengals in a game where I thought he played quite well and he got the W, and then 2 against the Pats where he came in midway through for Zach Wilson. Now, when you take a look at Mike White, his completion percentage over 66%, and that's all he really has to do is make those short passes and do something that Zach Wilson was struggling with doing. He has to make those short passes. He has the receivers to do it, Elijah Moore, Garrett Wilson. And then when you take a look at the fact that the Jets love to run the ball, and that's what they're going to do. They're going to run the ball a lot. So a guy like Michael Carter and, of course, James Robinson, they're going to have great days because the Bears' rush defense is absolutely terrible. And then the Jets' defense, when you take a look at this defense, 6 sacks last week. This is a Bears O-line that has allowed 40 sacks. That's probably why Justin Fields coming into this game is a game time decision because he's still dealing with an injury. But either way, the Jets defense is going to win this game for them. So I'm rolling with Mike White, and I'm going to lay those 6 points as well.
I like it. Rolling with Mike White. You talked about that Bears defense against the run, ranked 29th right now. That's why I think I have Michael Carter as a prop bet this week in one of my prop picks, like Michael Carter there. Okay, next up, a matchup with 2 teams that are trying to keep their playoff hopes alive. That would be the 5-5 Los Angeles Chargers and the 4-7 Arizona Cardinals. The Chargers, they are 2.5-point road faves. Cards money line plus 127 and an over-under of 48.5 in this one. So what is the best bet or bets for this battle in the desert?
Well, you said it right there. Both these teams are fighting for a playoff spot, and the Cards are still alive. And the fact that Kyler Murray expected to play in this game, Hollywood Brown expected to play in this game. So already they're looking like a better team. And then you got DeAndre Hopkins, who's been balling out of control. This is a Cards team that is hungry, and they pretty much have to win out. So this is a game that they really need to win. As for the Chargers, they're not going to be with Mike Williams this week. He's out with an ankle injury. But the fact that Justin Herbert got back Keenan Allen, that is great for him because he struggled as of late, 6 interceptions in 5 games. So he's going to have a big game. Looked decent last week. I know they lost the game, but the Chargers are hungry as well. When I take a look at the Chargers, Dex, I got to be honest with you, coming into the season, I thought they were going to have one of the best defenses in the league. When you take a look at the fact that, they brought in Khalil Mack and put him on the other side of Joey Bosa, Derwin James, Asante Samuel Jr. I thought this was going to be one of the elite defenses in the league. And it turns out they haven't been that. They're okay in the past. Their rush hasn't been great. So I actually think this one is going to be a high scoring affair. So I like the over in this one because both these teams give up more than 360 yards per game. So I think this is going to be a high scoring affair, and that's where I would place my money.
All right, putting your money on the over. That one definitely could be a shootout. Now, last but not least, Shantelle, your Las Vegas Raiders also trying to keep hope alive against the Seattle Seahawks. Tied for first, that is the Seahawks in the NFC West. The game is in Seattle with an over-under of 47.5 points. The Raiders are 4-point road dogs with a money line of plus 165. How are you betting this one? Are you going with your heart, Shantelle?
I've done that a few times, and I always know that it doesn't turn out well when you go with your heart. But the Seahawks, they're coming off a bye week coming into this one. The Raiders are probably coming off one of their best games of the year because they were able to get it done in OT. Derek Carr was efficient, threw for over 300 yards, had 2 touchdowns, and he didn't have any interceptions. And then Devontae Adams balled out. they were, just rolling together and throwing the ball like they were back at Fresno State. So that chemistry right now is looking good. But at the same time, the Seahawks pass defense is really good. You got Woolen, you got Michael Jackson. So I think they're going to give Devontae Adams a little bit of a hard time. But the one area where I think the Raiders will do well is on the run, because Seattle's rush defense is at the bottom of the league. But Josh Jacobs coming into this one questionable, but I do believe the Raiders do have depth at the running back position. As for Seattle, Geno Smith just has to do Geno Smith things, right? Because he's looked really good this season. He has to have a big game, and I think he will, because the Raiders' pass defense isn't really good. So when you got Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf, I think Geno Smith is going to be slinging it. I think this one is going to be a back and forth game, because Seattle is trying to get that top spot in the NFC West. They're right neck and neck with the 49ers. And the Raiders, well, they just want to prove all the haters wrong right now. So I'm going to take the Raiders to cover, but I do think Seattle is going to get the win.
All right, there you go. Raiders to cover, Seattle's got to win. So you get a little bit of happiness there if the Raiders cover. It should make you happy. That is Shantelle Chand, the great sports betting content creator. Shantelle, thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
Thanks so much for having me, Dex.